Right now, somewhere in the world, a grown adult is screaming at a television screen. Not because their house is on fire, not because something terrible has happened to someone they love. Because 11 men they have never met kicked a ball into a net, or did not kick it into a net. And that grown adult, educated, rational, probably quite reasonable in every other area of their life, is weeping, or celebrating, or unable to speak. Welcome to FIFA 26 World Cup season, and welcome to one of the most powerful ancient forces still operating inside the modern human brain. Because here is what nobody tells you when they talk about football. You are not watching a sport. You are performing a ritual that your nervous system has been rehearsing for 300,000 years. And FIFA 26 did not create this feeling. It just gave your prehistoric brain the most sophisticated tribal arena it has ever seen. Let's go back. Way back. Your ancestors lived in bands of roughly 50 to 150 people. You already know this from evolutionary psychology. Dunbar's number, the cognitive limit of stable human relationships. But here is what that number means in practice. Every single person in your band was either your ally or your threat. There was no neutral. There was no stranger you could safely ignore. Every unfamiliar face on the horizon was a potential danger to your food supply, your children, your survival. Your brain evolved across hundreds of thousands of years to solve one problem above all others. Which group am I in? And which group are they in? Psychologists call this in-group and out-group processing, and it does not just happen consciously, it happens automatically, instantly, below the level of thought. Within milliseconds of encountering another person, your brain is already running a calculation. Same tribe or different tribe, safe or dangerous, us or them. That system is still running in you, right now, every single day, and FIFA 26 World Cup has hacked it completely. The moment you pick a team, or more accurately, the moment you were born into a family that already had a team, your brain registered that team as in-group, as us, as kin. Not metaphorically. Neurologically. Researcher Daniel Wann at Murray State University has spent 3 decades studying sports fan psychology. What he found is extraordinary. Highly identified sports fans show measurable physiological responses when their team wins or loses. Testosterone levels rise after victories. Cortisol spikes after defeats. That are nearly identical to the responses of people who experienced those outcomes personally. Your brain does not cleanly distinguish between something happening to your team and something happening to you. When your striker scores in the 89th minute, your brain releases dopamine as if you scored. When your goalkeeper fumbles and they equalize, your brain floods with cortisol as if you failed. You are not watching the match. You are in the match. Your nervous system never got the memo that these are strangers on a screen, but it goes even deeper than that. Psychologist Henri Tajfel at the University of Bristol ran a series of experiments in the 1970s that changed how we understand human tribalism forever. He divided people into groups based on the most trivial criteria imaginable. Whether they preferred paintings by Klee or Kandinsky, whether they overestimated or underestimated the number of dots on a screen. Groups so meaningless they barely existed. And yet within minutes, people consistently favored their own group and discriminated against the other. Not because they had any rational reason to, but because the mere act of being categorized, of having an in-group at all, activated ancient tribal processing that immediately began protecting the group's interests and undermining the out-groups. This is what Tajfel called social identity theory, and it explains something you have probably noticed about World Cup season. People who have never watched a single league match in their lives suddenly become passionate about their national team. People who do not own a football shirt are wearing 3 of them. People who said sport was not really their thing are refreshing the FIFA 26 standings every 20 minutes and getting into arguments in comment sections. It is not hypocrisy. It is not bandwagon behavior. Or at least it is not only that. It is your ancient tribal identity system being activated by one of the most powerful in-group signals that exists, national identity. Your flag, your anthem, your language, your soil. Signals your nervous system recognizes as US at the deepest possible level, And FIFA 26 has amplified every single one of these signals to a degree your ancestors could never have imagined. Think about what the World Cup actually is through the lens of evolutionary psychology. It is a ritual combat between tribes, clearly defined, nationally coded, with uniforms and colors and chants and symbols, conducted in purpose-built arenas that your brain instinctively recognizes as gathering places. It has a defined hierarchy of winners and losers. It produces moments of collective ecstasy and collective grief that your brain processes as shared survival experiences. And it happens on a global stage, which means the in-group activation is not just local. It is planetary. Your ancient brain, which evolved to care about a band of 150 people, is being asked to feel tribal loyalty for an entire nation of millions. And somehow, because the signals are right, because the colors and the anthem and the shared watching experience are right, it works. Neuroscientist Tali Sharot at University College London studies how shared experiences amplify emotional responses. Her research shows that watching something simultaneously with others, even strangers, intensifies the emotional impact compared to watching alone. The mere knowledge that millions of people are experiencing the same moment you are experiencing right now increases your emotional response to it, which is why the World Cup final feels different from any other match. It is not just the stakes. It is the knowledge, felt somewhere below conscious thought, that your tribe is gathered. All of it, all at once, watching the same fire. And then there is the FIFA 26 game itself. Here is something remarkable. Research by psychologist Marcus Appel at the University of Würzburg found that people who play sports video games show increased identification with their chosen teams, compared to people who only watch. When you build your squad in FIFA 26 Ultimate Team, when you manage your nation through the World Cup bracket, when you make tactical decisions and feel the pressure of penalty shootouts, you are not just consuming football. You are performing the role of tribal leader. Your brain does not fully separate the simulation from the reality. The agency you exercise in the game, the decisions, the wins, the losses, deepens your neurological investment in the real sport. FIFA 26 is not just entertainment. It is a tribal identity reinforcement system disguised as a video game. And here is the part that explains something you may never have understood about yourself. Why does it hurt so much when your team loses? Not disappointment. Actual pain, the kind that stays with you for days. Because your ancient brain processed that loss as a tribal defeat. And tribal defeats, in the environment your nervous system evolved in, had real consequences. They meant reduced access to resources, reduced status, reduced safety. Your cortisol spike after a loss is not an overreaction. It is the appropriate biological response to a threat that your brain genuinely registered as real. And why does it feel so good? So specifically, deeply, uncontrollably good. When your team wins a tournament. Because your ancient brain processed that victory as tribal dominance, as proof that your group is strong, as a signal that you are safe, that your status is secure, that your kin have prevailed. The dopamine flood is not irrational exuberance. It is 300,000 years of evolution telling you, your tribe is winning. You are going to be okay. You were never just watching football. You were answering the oldest question your brain knows how to ask. Are we safe? Are we strong? Are we together? And for 90 minutes, or 120 if it goes to extra time, the answer, written in goals and saves and sliding tackles and the roar of 100,000 voices, is yes. We are here. We are together. We are still alive. So the next time FIFA 26 World Cup has you screaming at a screen, or weeping in a pub, or unable to eat for 3 hours after a defeat, do not be embarrassed. You are not overreacting. You are doing exactly what your brain was built to do. You are being human.